Welcome to The Explainer. Every so often in science, two completely different lines of research smash into each other and reveal something, something totally unexpected. And today, we're digging into one of those stories about COVID vaccines and cancer.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. It all started with a really simple, really important question. How well do these vaccines actually protect cancer patients? I mean, we know they're a vulnerable group, but what two major studies found was an answer that was, let's just say it was far more complex and, frankly, way more astonishing than anyone could have predicted.
All right, so let's start with the first piece of this puzzle. There was this massive study, we're talking over 2,300 cancer patients, that was published in the European Journal of Cancer. And its goal was to answer that one very straightforward question about protection.
And at first glance, the results were exactly what you'd hope to see. The vaccine was clearly working as a shield. With just one dose, 4% of patients still got a breakthrough infection. But after 2 doses, look at that, it plummets to less than 1%. And with 3 doses, it drops to 0, a perfect score. So the bottom line was clear, the vaccine was doing its fundamental job.
But, and this is a really big but, that's kind of where the simple, happy story ends. Because that same study then asked a much tougher question. What happens to the few vaccinated patients who do get sick? And the answer, honestly, was pretty grim.
This number right here, this is the crucial point. For a vaccinated cancer patient, a breakthrough case of COVID wasn't just a bad cold. It meant a nearly 1 in 5 chance of death within just 50 days. It was a stark reminder that even with a vaccine, for this group, the virus was still incredibly dangerous.
And this comparison just hammers that point home. See, the study also looked at vaccinated healthcare workers at the same hospital. For them, a breakthrough was manageable, 0 deaths. But for cancer patients, it was a completely different world, a truly life-threatening event.
So the picture we have so far seems pretty clear, if a little grim. Vaccines help protect, but a breakthrough infection is still a massive threat for cancer patients. And just as that reality was sinking in, bam! A totally separate study, this one published in the journal Nature, comes along and flips the entire script.
Now, to really get this incredible twist, we first have to talk about a pretty revolutionary type of cancer treatment called immune checkpoint inhibitors, or ICIs. Okay, so think of your immune system like a really powerful car. It has brakes, these checkpoints, to keep it from going haywire and attacking your own healthy cells. It's a critical safety feature. But some cancers are incredibly sneaky. They learn how to slam on those brakes, making themselves invisible to your body's defenses. ICIs are a therapy that essentially cuts the brake lines, letting your immune system finally go full throttle after the cancer.
And here it is. Here's the bombshell from that Nature study. They found that patients with melanoma or lung cancer who are on this ICI therapy, well, if they also got an mRNA COVID vaccine around the time their treatment started, they lived significantly longer. I mean, dramatically longer.
So what in the world does that mean? Basically, the vaccine was playing a double agent. It wasn't just fighting a virus. It was acting as what the researchers called a potent immune modulator. In other words, it was turbocharging the cancer therapy. The vaccine had become this totally unexpected, powerful ally in the fight against cancer.
Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. We know what's happening, but the next question is how, right? How on earth could a vaccine for a respiratory virus possibly help fight cancer? Well, the way it works is just fascinating.
The best way to think about it is like a citywide fire alarm. The mRNA vaccine pulls that alarm, putting the entire immune system on high alert. This wakes up the immune system's security guards, which suddenly start patrolling every corner of your body. And in doing so, they finally notice the burglars, the cancer cells, that have been hiding in plain sight all along. Now, the cancer cells, they panic. They throw up these defensive shields. But that is exactly where the ICI therapy does its magic. It comes in and just vaporizes those shields, leaving the cancer completely exposed to this newly awakened immune attack. So look, this isn't just some cool scientific factoid. This discovery could potentially open up an entirely new frontier in cancer treatment. We're talking about using one common tool to make another, highly advanced tool way more powerful. I mean, the implications are just huge. This research suggests we could take a standard, off-the-shelf vaccine and use it to turn cold tumors, cancers that the immune system completely ignores, into hot tumors, basically painting a giant bullseye on them so immunotherapy can work its magic. And it all comes down to timing. Sounding that fire alarm right at the start of the therapy seems to be the key. And that just leaves us with this final, provocative thought to chew on.
We started this whole journey with a simple question about protection and ended up with the mind-blowing possibility that a routine vaccine, something you can get at any pharmacy, could become a critical part of treating cancer. What a surprising twist, and one that could truly reshape the future of medicine.